So I have a problem. This is my sad little coffee station. I know, I love making coffee at home. My girls love to make Starbucks inspired drinks at home. And over the years, all of the tools and supplies that we've needed to make these drinks have piled up. And this is the chaotic mess that I have on this little dresser in my dining room. It's so bad. Honestly, it's been such an embarrassing dumping ground for all things coffee, tea, and special drinks, but I am going to fix this. I want to create a wall-to-wall built-in style coffee station for my dining room. So I want to make this dream coffee bar using the IKEA HAVSTA cabinets. They're one of my favorite cabinets that IKEA has. They're budget friendly, they're nice and narrow, so I think they will work nicely in my dining room. But I really want to make sure that this unit matches the rest of my home, sort of this transitional, traditional aesthetic. I don't want it to look cheap. So can we do it? Let's find out. Like any good DIY, I'm gonna start by getting some inspiration from Pinterest. I'm simply searching for coffee bars. I'm loving the look of 2 units on either side with some sort of feature in the middle, whether it's marble or wood or some sort of combination. I fell in love with this idea of the white cabinets on either side and the bottom and this cozy textured wood with open shelves in the middle, and that's what I wanted to do for my dream coffee bar. It's cozy, it looks high-end, and I feel like it's perfect for the traditional dining room with a little bit of a modern edge. Then I jumped over to Canva and made a mock-up to make sure that the IKEA HAVSTA units would work with this idea that I have. I'm pulling in the HAVSTA unit and just cropping out a picture of that wooden middle, and I'm thinking that this is all going to look really good together. My dining room wall is just short of 10 feet wide, so 3 of these IKEA HAVSTA base units with a bit of a space in the middle for a mini fridge actually worked out really well for my dining room. And then I'm gonna purchase 2 of these upper units for either side of my coffee bar. I found this little retro fridge on Amazon and it is so cute. I will link this down in the description box below, as well as everything I'm using in today's IKEA hack. All right, so it is go time. First of all, I removed all of the board and batten from the back of my dining room wall, as well as a couple feet on the sides. This was a bit of a problem. I almost immediately started ripping holes in my wall because I had installed these so well. This is gonna be a bit of a mess to fix up later, but I wanted to get rid of these because I want this unit to sit flush against the wall and for the board and batten on the sides to butt up right against it to make it have that high quality built-in look. I also removed my old dresser and donated that, and I removed my little sofa, and I'm gonna use this in my living room instead. Next up is assembling the IKEA HAVSTA units. Like any IKEA build, these are really straightforward to put together. I simply followed the directions and I used my trusty drill. I'm assembling 3 base units and 2 of those top units. I also purchased the little bases for the top units to give my coffee bar a little bit of extra height and add some detail. Now I put the 3 base units along the back wall and I'm arranging them so there's space for that mini fridge in the middle. I also left a 3/4 of an inch on either side because I want to use some pine 1x2 to fill in that space. And this is what's gonna make this coffee bar look more built in and have that board and batten butt up right against it. One of my favorite countertops is the IKEA Ekbacken, I think that's how you say it, faux marble laminate countertop. I think it looks really chic and really high-end for the price. It's like $100 for an 8-foot piece. Here in Canada, Sean did a couple of kitchen jobs and we did an island job in our own home, so we happened to have some leftover of this countertop, and Sean was able to use a saw and cut this to a shallow depth to put on top of those HAVSTA base units. I really love how marble kind of gives this classic elegance to a space, and I'm thinking it's gonna look perfect here. So I installed this countertop using screws from the bottom of the cabinets into the countertop, and then Sean is helping me lift those upper HAVSTA units onto either side of that counter. And I think this is going to make this unit just look like a beautiful built-in that's always been in this house. Here again, I'm leaving that 3/4 of an inch on either side to place some 1x2 pieces of pine, and I already can see how this is going to look and and it's going to look so cool in our dining room. Now I'm filling the sides of the top and bottom of this unit with 1x2 pine. I picked this up at Home Depot along with all of the other pine lumber that I'm using in today's DIY. Now for this center feature, I am so excited about this. I first purchased some wide pine shiplap and I cut it down to size, just a few pieces, and put it up, and I did not like how it looked. It was just too rustic. I think the width of the planks is what gave it that rustic look that I wasn't going for. I wanted something with a little bit of that rustic, but more refined. So I went back to Home Depot. I grabbed some narrower, about 1x4 pieces of pine tongue and groove, put that up, and that was the look I was going for. So I cut it all to size. I stained it with a stain color called Special Walnut, which closely matches the table we have in here, this nice warm brown color. I also discovered that it was blotchy when I first applied it, so I had to use what's called wood conditioner first. What you do with wood conditioner is you apply it to your wood, wipe off the excess, let it dry for about 30 minutes, and then use your stain. And this helps soft woods like pine take the stain better and look a lot more even in the end. I also picked up some pine 1x8s and I sanded and stained those in the same color as well. And these are gonna be the open shelves in the middle of the coffee bar. Next, I had my dad help me cut a large piece of pine board for the top of my unit. And I'm gonna be using this as a bridge to bridge those two upper cabinets together because I want this all to look like one built-in. I'm not a huge fan of the table saw, so when I can get my dad or my husband to help me with this, it's not only fun, but it's also safer when you have two people working a table saw together. I'm mounting this bridge piece on top of the two HAVSTA cabinets with some screws. And by the way, I mounted those upper HAVSTA cabinets with some nice secure brackets to the wall. Everything is nice and secure with wood screws, brackets, and things secured right into the studs in my wall. I also cut down a couple pieces of 1x6 pine, and I'm using this as a face on top of that bridge piece. I'm securing it with some wood glue and some brad nails. Now Sean is coming in to help me add some crown molding to the top of this piece, and I feel like this is what is tying it all together. It's giving this piece that gorgeous traditional look that I love, and I think the crown molding looks so good. We're also using the same style of crown molding that's a little bit taller and finishing off the rest of the dining room with this crown, which I've wanted to do for like 12 years. Now to finish off these IKEA cabinets and make them look built in, I went to Home Depot, I brought a piece of the shelf in, and they color matched that shelf to some paint. So if you can bring any piece of like door or shelf or anything from your IKEA piece, bring it into Home Depot, they will color match it, and then you can paint all of the extra little bits that you've added to your piece. So in my case, all of these pieces of pine. I'm actually really happy with this color match. Don't forget to caulk all of your seams before you paint to also give it that more professional finish. I also added this inexpensive picture light from Amazon to the top center of my coffee bar. I love that it just gives it a little bit of glitz and glam at the top, plus it's practical. I use a remote to turn it on and off, and it offers more illumination for when I'm making my coffee. Now it's time for my favorite part, finishing up this middle wood feature. So Sean used to install these marble panel backsplashes, and he happened to have the perfect piece of marble panel backsplash. So he cut it to size, and we are installing it in the middle of the coffee bar. I love how it looks so good with the IKEA faux marble, and it's going to add that glam to this look. He also added some little light strips to the back of it because it's translucent, so he's gonna backlight this, which was his idea, and I love it. Now I'm adding one of the stained shelves right on top of that, and what I'm doing is I'm placing it where I want it to go on top of the backsplash, using a level, making sure it's level, marking out where it lands on either side of the cabinet, and then I'm drilling pilot holes. And I'm using these to screw this shelf to the cabinets from the inside of the cabinet. So it sits on top of the backsplash, it's screwed on the sides so it's nice and secure. Then after that, I'm using my stained tongue and groove. I'm installing that on top of the shelf. I'm doing a 14-inch span here, and I'm using some wood glue and a finishing nail gun. Then I'm adding my second shelf in the same way as my first shelf and finishing off this whole center feature with some more tongue and groove pine. So I have an 18-inch height where I want my coffee machine to go with the marble, a 14-inch for the shelf, and an 18-inch for the top, so it looked nice and symmetrical. I was really excited about this part. I found these brass tipping rails from Etsy. I actually used these for my range hood in my kitchen. So I wanted to continue this theme into my dining room. I love when you have little cohesive elements in a house to kind of tie your whole house together like this. I'll link these in the description box below because they're so gorgeous. They're a little bit of an investment, but I feel like these look better than any sort of DIY tipping rail I've seen, and I'm a DIYer, so I think these are worth the splurge just for the look that they give. These are pretty straightforward to install. I used pilot holes after I marked where I wanted the base to go after I screwed everything together. They're a little tedious though because these screws are tiny, so you have to use a tiny little screwdriver to screw all of these base pieces in. But I love how these tipping rails just tie in the brass. I'm also using brass knobs on this piece to make everything match. Sean finished off the electrical by drilling a hole in the top of the countertop to access the outlet behind the cabinet so I can plug in all of my coffee maker, etc. He also was able to wire that backlighting behind the backsplash using the outlet underneath the cabinetry. I can't tell you how excited I am to decorate these shelves for the season. Right now it is fall, so I'm gonna decorate them in kind of a quirky and cute style for fall and Halloween with this cute ghost art, some candles, lots of cozy touches. I'm also adding some books and pumpkins, but I gotta tell you, I cannot wait to decorate this for Christmas, and I'll definitely show you that here. I love how I can use this center section as sort of a seasonal display. The glass cabinets are perfect for all of my dishware and pretty glasses. And then I have those based cabinets, which are closed, where I can put my more utility things and my linens and things like that. I was also inspired to freshen up this room since we're doing this coffee bar anyway, so I got some new curtains to tie in the green and the white. These were surprisingly gorgeous. They're just from Amazon, and I love the floral pattern. And then I also swapped out the light in the dining room. I thought the one we had was okay, but to me, it just feels a little dated and a little bit too modern for this space. So I found this really pretty little linear chandelier, and Sean helped me install that. And I love how it softens up our dining room. So as a reminder, here is how our coffee bar looked before. Not good. And here is how my IKEA hack coffee bar looks now. This is truly my dream coffee bar. I am so happy with how I was able to make IKEA pieces look high-end. It looks cozy, it looks traditional. To me, it looks like a built-in, and I am thrilled with how this turned out and super proud that I did most of this all by myself with the help of my family, of course. I love the combination of the white with the warmth of the wood. I love the combination of all the different storage I have, the open shelves, the glass shelves, the closed bottom cabinets. The touches of brass make it elegant. The backlighting is such a fun feature for dinner parties and gatherings. And I love this little mini fridge to store all of our drinks, milks, and ice to make our special drinks. I think that my girls and I are going to love this for many years to come. I was able to get this done before Canadian Thanksgiving, and it was so nice to have for my guests. It's gonna make a great homework space for my girls and a really special cozy space for me. Thank you so much for joining me on this IKEA hack journey. Let me know what you think of this DIY coffee bar down in those comments. I would love to know. I'm a huge IKEA hack fan. I've done tons of DIYs that I love with IKEA products. I'm gonna leave a video for you to watch next with a compilation of all my favorites right up here.